How They Run was directed by Tom George, and it's not your typical murder mystery. And this one also stars a fantastic cast, which is anchored by Sam Rockwell, Saoirse Ronan, Adrien, Brody, and David Oyelowo. Just stacked with talent. The setting is West End London, 1953, and plans for a movie version of Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap come to an abrupt halt after a pivotal member of the crew is murdered. When a world-weary inspector, played by Sam Rockwell, and an eager rookie, played by Saoirse Ronan, take on the case, they find themselves thrown into a puzzling whodunit within the glamorously sordid world of underground theater. So you guys are probably well aware that I love me a good murder mystery, and this one happens to be set in the realm of the theater. So these just sound like ingredients for a movie that should be near and dear to my heart. See How They Run is just such a fun little movie. It's not gonna be so incredibly groundbreaking like a Knives Out was, but this is a really, really nice feature presentation. If I'm not mistaken, this may be Tom George's feature debut. If I'm wrong about that, I'm wrong about that. I'm not overly familiar with his work is what I'm saying here, but man, I just want to see everything this guy does from this point forward. I think he has a really, really nice handle of this movie. And I love that he presents it almost like a satire. There are so many clever homages to The Mousetrap and Agatha Christie's dialogue in there. There's a lot of very clever homages to West End theater. The late great Dickie Attenborough is actually a character in this whodunit. And I think everything down to the production design, some really lavish scores here, immaculate costumes as well. And of course, me being a theater actor myself, I may have a bit of a bias for this setting here. I think this is just, it's an amazing, amazing spot to hold a whodunit like this. I myself am a big fan of a musical called Curtains, also a whodunit, which is set within the world of the theater. And I think See How They Run captures that exact same silliness that Curtains was getting at. This all-star cast as well is just so good. Saoirse Ronan is incredibly eager at every possible moment. I love her gimmick of having to write everything down. No matter how important or insignificant a little thing may be, she will write down those little facts. And I think she's just an absolutely wonderful performer. Her and Sam Rockwell together, I think, are just absolute magic. Speaking of Sam Rockwell, this may be his most subdued performance in years. His drunken, clueless mannerisms are perfect. His English accent is really, really solid, actually. And damn it, it was so much fun watching him, as was the case with everybody else. Adrien Brody is very, very fun to watch in this movie. Quite the arrogant ass Adrien Brody is, but his character does lend to a lot of very clever in-jokes thrown in throughout this very, very clever screenplay. You know, there's not really a whole lot to complain about with See How They Run. I think this is going to be one of the most underrated movies of the year. These actors are all on top of their game. Sam Rockwell is magnificent, as is Saoirse Ronan. David Oyelowo is just awesome. And I loved Tom George's direction with this. I love the satirical feel of this piece. I love the fact that it pays homage to one of the longest running plays in West End theater history, if not the longest running play. They say at one point that 10 million people have gone to the West End to see The Mousetrap, which is insane to me. And I think this is a really amazing tribute to whodunits as a whole. My only real issue with See How They Run, honestly, is towards the end, they make a really, really interesting choice, but it turns out to be a red herring, which I understand that whodunits absolutely need a lot of. But this is also a screenplay that was preaching about how different of a whodunit it was. Not to get too deep into spoilers or anything of who actually committed the crime, but it turns out to be, I don't want to say the most predictable thing, but they make a choice close to when the third act is set to begin, and I was like, that's brilliant. This is probably the most unique whodunit I think I've ever seen. And then they very curiously back away from that choice. But I don't know, I feel like people might enjoy that choice more than others. I, for one, feel like I'm gonna really enjoy rewatching See How They Run over and over and over again. I absolutely adored this movie. I'm gonna go ahead and give it an A-. Absolutely a great comfort movie for everybody who enjoys whodunits like myself. Let me know what you thought of See How They Run down in the comments section below. what is your favorite whodunit in cinema history? Because guys, clearly I love what I do here. I love starting the discussion about all new things in movies and TV with all of you lovely people. Getting to interact with you guys makes things all the more fun for me. So if you guys are a new viewer, do consider smashing that subscribe button as well as that notification bell right next door. That way you don't miss a second more of the action from this point forward. And feel free to smash that thumbs up on your way out. That would be some tremendous help as well. And guys, stay tuned for more exciting content hitting my channel very soon. I will be looking at Don't Worry Darling this next weekend before I go out on my trip. And before you know it, my Halloween special is going to be kickstarting this year. And I cannot wait to reveal the titles that are on this year's list. But y'all, thank you so much for your continuous support. And with all that being said, Back Talk, commence.